Hey, welcome back, everyone. Today, if I sound a little different, I'm A, trying something new with the microphone, and B, I have a slick back pony, and it's really cramping my style because the headphones with the slick back pony, it's like really just a bold and inspired choice. And I can't hear myself through my headphones, so I don't even know what they're for. What are they for? What do they do? I don't know. But today, we're talking about friendships, and I kind of always wanted the podcast episodes to be like themed and everybody have like a reason and a purpose for writing in. But I haven't gotten there yet because A, didn't know if enough people were going to write in like per episode, and B, thought it would like kind of just naturally evolve into that. And so that's what I'm trying to do. So I had a couple of write ins on friendships and boys, and I actually posted on my stories, and I was like, okay, somebody help me decide between the two by basically like writing in a story to be a tiebreaker. Now, most people ended up just like literally typing like friendships or like boys as their vote into the story Google form, but whatever. We had more votes for friendships, and so we'll probably do boys next week. And somebody even said like, "Can you have Andrew on?" Like my boyfriend? And the answer is no. So, a couple reasons. First is literally because I cannot afford a second microphone right now. The microphone I got is very expensive. I actually have the capabilities to plug in two microphones, so there will be guests one day, just not quite yet. And also, while we're on that topic, do you guys are you bored with like just me talking, or do we like this, or should I start having guests? When I start having guests, should I try to have guests every week? I'm like scared if I go to like having a guest, it'll basically become a crutch, and then what if y'all like it more and then I am just like obsolete? Who knows? Second, Andrew is a very private person. I posted him on social media like when we first started dating and like our like first like 2-3 years of our relationship. But then when he became a teacher, it like opened up a whole new realm of like people that were looking for him on the internet, and like students, I mean, and like it's uncomfortable, like he doesn't want his students to see his personal life and like stuff like that. And it's not even that deep. Like I could post him if I want to. I just like try to respect that, like, hey, this is my career choice, not yours. So I won't put you on the internet if you're not like excited about it. And I'm gonna try to have that same aspect of when I have kids one day. Like, you can be on the internet if you want to be, and like, I don't know. I don't want to get like canceled or something. But so yeah, that is why as of now, those two things won't be happening. No guest and no Andrew for now. But it's not like never gonna happen. Just not right now. Not in the phase that we're in. Okay. I am like trying to I don't even know where I was going at that point. Oh my God, wait. I have a question for you guys. I need advice from you guys. Okay. This is going to sound so stupid. And if I'm being like completely ridiculous, please tell me. Where should y'all leave me your advice? I guess, I don't know. You could comment on Spotify, or you can comment on like my Instagram or TikTok on one of these clips or something. I don't know. Basically, I live in like a little house, and the driveway is not that long. Like the driveway is the length of my car. It perfectly fits my car. And we keep our trash cans at the end of our driveway. Okay. So not a long driveway, but like it's tucked in like against our house, against our gate, and usually like between me and Andrew's car. Okay. And every time we go to put out our trash recently, there's bright blue poop bags, like dog poop bags in our trash can. And like sometimes they're tied, sometimes they're not. Okay. And granted, we put our poop bags in our trash can too. Like, so it's not like it's like an anti-poop trash can. God, what am I talking about here? So basically, here's my question. Is it wrong of us to think it's like kind of weird for these people to put their dog poop bags in our trash can? Like they are walking up our driveway. Granted, let me emphasize, it's not that long of a driveway, but they are walking up our driveway by like our house and gate that is not like really just like off the road to throw their dog poop bags away when I know what house they live on. One time I was running and they were walking down the street, and I like saw them while I was doing my laps, like walk into their house. Like they live like 4 houses down. Like you could hold the poop bag. But is this just like a me problem? Because when me and Andrew first moved here, like let's say it would be trash day and we would be at the end of our street with like a poop bag, I would be uncomfortable putting it in someone's trash can, even when it was on the street. Because that's someone else's trash can. I'm pretty sure, isn't it like illegal, like dumping when you like throw away your trash in someone else's? I don't know. basically it's a non-problem problem, but like basically I just want to be validated in me being bothered by it. I'm never going to say anything. I thought about leaving like a little petty note like, hey, keep your dog poop to yourself or like something like that on the trash can. But then the rain would get on it and it's almost like too much trouble than it's worth. But I just wanted to know if I was being ridiculous. Kind of on the same note, God, if you're listening, thank you because I'm being weird today. But Andrew got a bidet for our bathroom. And I've been around bidets before. Like, I think my dad has bidets in every toilet in his house. Like, whatever. For some reason, there's like a mental block that I just think bidets are like not for me. Like, I don't want to say they're nasty because obviously they're clean and like they literally, like Andrew keeps telling me about the self-cleaning function, whatever. I can't get over like water shooting up there. Is that weird to say? I'm literally applying for jobs and what am I doing? I'm talking on the internet about bidets. If you're wondering what this yellow substance is, if you're watching, it is a Celsius. And I really never knew they were that color until I needed to put it on ice. And it's like a bright neon green for those listening. Anyways, so I really can't get over my bidet thing either. And maybe I need advice on that too because is it just like me being a drama queen or is it warranted? Like, are you bidet users? That's my question here. Anyways, I suppose we can get into our story. So basically the first one is not really like a story. Some people are like doing like general write-in questions and then some people are doing like specific instances. I think I prefer the specific instances only for the fact that I could get very repetitive. There will probably be a lot of repetition in this episode. I'm warning you now. So if you get bored, obviously turn it off. I'm not forcing you to be here. But I think it sometimes is needed to hear things a couple times. And yeah, let's get into friendships. Oh, wait, I did want to talk about one more thing before we get into friendships. I don't know if it's like me being really busy right now or me being really like overwhelmed and like biting off more than I could chew. Let me tell you about biting off more than I could chew. I'm doing it. I am biting off more than I could chew. I am basically saying no to nothing because I think it's like distracting me from my inner demons, or at least so I'm like thinking. I have a lot going on with school right now. This is like a crazy semester. It's technically my last like full semester of grad school, and the classes talk about like tough, okay? Like a lot of assignments, a lot of hands-on work, a lot of just like application stuff. And like obviously grad school is hard and it's been challenging, but this one in particular is like a lot. Also, I'm very busy at work right now because one thing that there's like 6 GAs at my work, but I'm like the marketing girly kind of. And so anything like marketing or any type of like girly business they want a consultant on, like I get put on that and I love, 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 love it. But I'm just like very overwhelmed in all aspects of my life. So like that's another one. And then what else? I have a lot of literally, I'm so lucky to even be saying this, but I have a lot of like brand partnerships in the works and I'm like working on them. Like it's a matter of like writing scripts, submitting the scripts for approval, filming the content, editing the content, submitting the content for approval, and then like revisions if the brand wants, and then getting like the captions and the posting and like all of that. It's a lot. And thankfully I have a management slash agency. I don't know what technically they are actually. I should probably figure that out. That handles a lot of it. Thank God. And gets me these deals. Thank goodness. But I'm not going to say no. You know what I mean? Like I like have wished for this and like wanted this forever. So like, why would I say no to that? And I'm trying to save up because I'm moving and moving's expensive. But there's that going on. Just like me trying to keep up with content. I looked at my Instagram today and I haven't posted on my feed in over a week. That is not a good influencer. That is a bad influencer. Bad, 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 bad. And all these things, like if I'm not doing everything to 100%, I feel guilty. Like I looked at my Instagram today and I was like, I felt like sick. Not sick. That's so dramatic. People are dying, Kim. I just felt like anxious and stressed. I was like, oh my God, like this is what I want to do. This is like what I love doing. Why am I taking it for granted? Why haven't I posted in a week? And like that is such a not good mentality to have. Like you need breaks and everything, but I don't know. So basically with all this being said, I have a lot going on. Everyone does, obviously. But I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but like, I feel like I'm not like fully aware in life. I don't know like how y'all took that, but oops, I just hiccuped. But I get to like the end of my day and I'm so just like drained and depleted that like I'm like, what did I do today? Like there's nothing going on in there. And I started like thinking about it like I'm making memories and I'm like doing things, but like I don't have them in my memory. I don't have them in my head. And you know what? Probably grief is doing a big thing on that because I mean, skip ahead a couple minutes if you don't want to talk about like grief or anything, but it's coming up on the 5 month mark of my friend dying, and I feel tears coming. Swallow it up. And her birthday is coming up. Her birthday's on Easter, and the 10K is coming up. We're running it in honor of her birthday, where all her like friends and family are going to be there, and I didn't want to cry. I didn't want to cry, and I feel like a second wave of grief is hitting me, but it's different this time. It's like, it's almost worse this time because of how real it is. Oh my God, I didn't even plan on talking about this. And so like it's a whole different side of grief that I'm experiencing now. Sorry, it's probably so annoying like listening to someone's like voice quivering. But yeah, so it's hard to like explain the feelings and it's hard to like even know how to work through it. So I'm like just taking it day by day, but it's probably a main reason why I'm taking on so much right now because I'm trying to distract myself. Because if I'm so busy, I don't have time to hang out with friends. And if I don't have time to hang out with friends, then I can't know that like I can't hang out with her. Does that make sense? I don't know. Okay, let's move on before I cry. Like actually. But moral of the story is I'm trying to figure out how to like feel like I'm living life and like feel like I'm being present and like remembering things. Cause like I've also realized like I feel like I don't remember a lot from my childhood. So I'm like just confused about the whole thing. Confused, really. Okay. Anyways, now that we got that out the way, we're talking about friendships. And my first story is like general. And so I'm starting with the general basically to like touch on all the points and then we'll get into like depth on the points. I mean, I get into depth on everything. I can talk, okay? The fact that like it's 3 stories each episode and it lasts like 45, 50 minutes is ridiculous. I've had a good time doing 3 stories lately because I could really like beat the dead horse and like hammer in my point. But do y'all get bored with that? Because I found that I was repeating myself a lot and like, should I do more stories more quickly is what I'm saying. There's a lot of questions for you guys today. I'm putting y'all to work. Full-time job here. Anyways, let's begin. I'm blabbering. This one is from Anonymous. They all are. Can you talk about the out-of-college friendships, the random girl parts, unexpected friendship breakups, and making new friends? So, friends. You love them, but you hate them because it's a complicated relationship, really, because you have to think about it this way. It's like a relationship. Like, think about how much. Oh my God, Zaza's hitting the microphone. Down, girl. Down. Can you get down? Please. Zaza's my pug, if you could hear her breathing. Anyways, if you've ever been in a romantic relationship that like was healthy and lasted a while, you know how much work you have to put in that relationship. And I think people expect friendships to just happen and there not to be work put in. And so that is where I'll start off today in knowing that like friendships take work. And you know what? I saw a really good video the other day and it was a great point for me and a great lesson for me because I'll explain. Basically, it was this girl and she was like, my mom is a great villager and she has a great village. Okay. And if you don't know what I mean, like, you know how like they say like it takes a village, like blah, 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 blah. Well, the girl basically said like my mom will pick up her best friend's daughter from the airport an hour away, bring her home, get her food on the way home, and never even need a thank you or expect anything in return. I think a lot of the times, like I've done this, like if I pick you up from the airport, you have to pick me up from the airport. And if you say you won't pick me up from the airport, I'm going to be upset and I'm going to like feel like I got taken advantage of basically. You know what I mean? And it was the same thing my whole life. Like I would do something for a friend and expect the same thing in return. You can't do that if you want a healthy relationship. And I think that is a thing that I had to come to terms with because I was giving, and I eventually got to my point where I was like, no one's giving back to me. I'm showing up for these people in times that it's not convenient for me. I'm doing these things for these people and they're not doing the same for me. And so I kind of got like bitter and I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop doing that. And it was actually my mom and she was like, Emily, I love the person you are and I love that you show up for your people. And I don't want you to lose that just like out of expecting other people to show up the same way. you know? And so I think that's like a really important lesson to learn in general in life, in friendships, in relationships, in even like work dynamics, everything. It could be applied to everything is you have to be willing to give and expect nothing back. If you get something back, great. But you have to be willing to not expect them to give the level that you give. And maybe that's a sad realization and maybe it's not fair, but it's life, you know? Sorry, that was me testing the microphone. So let's go into detail. The random grow aparts. Now, I talked a lot about this in my first episode. There's going to be different people that are meant to be in your life in different phases. And that is just a plain fact of life. I'm a big believer in people being good for one phase and not for another. And it's sad a lot of the times, but it is just like so, it reigns true all the time because I'm in a phase of my life where I'm moving. I'm building my relationship with my boyfriend every day. I'm going to be getting a new job. I'm going to be starting all these new things. And maybe every single friend that I've had in my whole life isn't going to be as close to me for this phase of my life. That doesn't mean that I'll never talk to them again and they're out of my life forever. It just means like we grew apart, you know? I think the best thing I could think of is one of my childhood best friends. Okay, I actually have two instances of childhood best friends. I'm sure you guys do too. My first childhood best friend, me and her were best friends. And then in third grade, she moved to another school. She moved like to another city, to another school. And we would see each other like once every couple of years. And that was it. But we had the best time together from kindergarten to third grade. And I truly cherish those memories so much. And we rekindled in college and like became friends in college, not close friends, but like friends in passing and like really enjoyed each other's company again. And it's just like what we needed at the time. Like she was the best friend I could have ever thought of when I was 9 years old, you know? And we grew apart and she has new friends and I have new friends and there's no bad blood or anything there, but like I'm so grateful I had her when I was in third grade. That's like such a silly little example, but it just ran so true that like it sucks and some friends will be there for every phase of your life, but some friends just won't. And I had to learn that because I was holding a lot of animosity towards people that couldn't be there for me in the phase of life I'm in. And I had to just like let that go. I had to just understand they are in a different phase. I am in a different phase. We're not simpatico. I think that's the word. I've been messing up words a lot recently. So that's the grow parts. Unexpected friendship breakups is her next little point. Now, friendship breakups are hard. I went through my first one, I think in like 7th grade. And it's not easy, especially when it's like so messy and it's not even just like a grow apart, like something happened. But I think if you take the same mentality of like when you're breaking up with a boy and when you're breaking up with a friend, that kind of helps digest it a little more, I think, because it's so hard, like breaking up. And honestly, not to flip like a steak, but sometimes friendship breakups are easier than friendship grow aparts because at least you have an answer. You have a definite ending and you have a definite answer, which a lot of times, like boys, like let's say you talk to a guy for 3 months and y'all broke up versus you talk to a guy or dated a guy for 3 years and y'all broke up. Sometimes the 3-month one is harder because like you always have like the what ifs, the what could have happened, what could we have been, whereas like 3 years, like you probably like don't have as many what ifs because you were together for 3 years, you know? And it's the same way with friendships because a grow apart could be like, well, what if we could have been great friends? She could have been a bridesmaid in my wedding. She could have been this. She could have been that. They could have been this. They could have been that. And whereas like a friendship breakup, you know, like you truly exhausted all the options to be friends with this person. And it could happen for one reason or another. And I think if you treat it like a boyfriend or girlfriend breakup, it could help a lot, you know? Think about it in the way of like, okay, I need to go no contact with this person so I could keep growing with myself. If we still keep talking, if we still keep like trying things, like it'll never work out. Or like if you can work on it like a relationship, like not couples therapy, but like kind of couples therapy unofficially. Cause like I feel like it'd be silly to go to like a licensed therapist with your friend. Like at that point, is it worth it? You know? But I don't know. Overall, it's really hard. And I think it's just a fact of life of there's going to be constant cycles in your life where you'll be on top of the world one minute and the bottom of the barrel at other minutes. Something I've really struggled with in life is finding those friends that I really could see being a friend forever because I understand the phases of life and I understand I might be closer with somebody this year and like farther apart from them next year, but then go back to them in 2 years, you know? And finding those like people that have really just been around, I could see staying around and like I truly like feel like have my best interests at heart. And unfortunately, like, my friend that passed away was one of those. And I think that's what makes it so hard now for me to even like picture friendships and like even like this whole episode's about friendships today, but like I have never been in like a more vulnerable place friendship wise because I lost this close friend, you know? And like because I just like question everything now. Like I had no doubt 100% that this girl was going to be in my wedding and be in my life forever. And one day she's just gone, you know? And so it really just, God, crying twice. We're only like 20 minutes in, please. But it really just is like, it opens your eyes to a lot. And like, if you haven't gone through loss, thank God, you know, because like when I tell you, it is the worst thing ever. And like, I went through loss as when I was younger, when I was like 10, and then like 10 through like 12, I lost like 3 very important people to me, but it's different as a kid. And it's different when before it was like a grandparent, a grandma, a grandpa, and then my brother's best friend. And now it was like, I lost this person that I was choosing to be in my life. Like I wanted her here. I chose her to be my friend. Obviously we chose each other, I mean, but like this was a person that I consciously kept in my life and like kept around and stayed close to. And to lose that was like a whole nother level of just like hurt and pain. And it truly just, it swayed my opinion. Like, honestly, like I wonder if like I would have started this podcast before I lost her. Obviously, I know she would have been like my biggest cheerleader, but I wonder like how I would have given advice on friendships prior to that, because when I tell you like my whole view on everything has changed. So that was just, I guess, a little tangent. Let me take a sip. Okay. And her last point was making new friends. I talked a little bit about this, I think, in episode 1 as well, but it's really just about putting yourself out there and not caring. I talked about like my freshman year theory. You really just have to act like you're a freshman in college. If you were a freshman in college, like if you went to college, you know, ego doesn't matter. Weirdness doesn't matter. You could walk up to anyone and be their friend because everyone was looking for friends freshman year of college. And truly, that's how the world is. Like everyone's looking for human connection. Everyone is looking for friends to spend life with. Everyone's looking for a partner to spend life with. There's no shame in randomly reaching out to somebody or randomly walking up to somebody and like starting a friendship and starting something new. You know, I can go into more detail about this too, but that's my like overarching theme is like, it really is just not that serious. If somebody judges you, so what? So what if they think you're weird? Like I said before, so what if they think you're weird? They're not going to be your friend anyways because they think you're weird. And guess what? If they don't think you're weird, that's a new friend. So that's my little spiel on that. I go a lot more into it, I think, in episode 1. If you want to go listen, you know? Okay, let's get into our second story. So recently, I've been losing a lot of long-term close friends. It hasn't been anyone's fault, but rather just us growing farther apart through life changes. It has made me sad, but I also know the space is what we need. I do have other amazing new friends that I'm making, which I am extremely grateful for, but I can't help but feel a little bit sad about the sudden change and separation from people I've been close to my whole life. I know you talked about how you feel like you go through different phases of life with different people, and I was wondering how you navigate the falling out and moving on with friendships. Now, unfortunately, I have dealt with this in my lifetime, and it's not fun, but it's also sometimes what needs to happen in order for both parties to keep growing. Does that make sense? And I know you said like you obviously listened to episode 1 of SOS because you know about like my phase theory and everything, but it really is just like so true of like sometimes you could have these friends and they keep you in a box. And by no like bad intention or no, like what I'm trying to say is like it's not a bad intention that they keep you in this box. It's just you outgrow people and they outgrow you, and you could grow different ways. Like you could both be growing and grow different ways. And I think it's really important to see that and acknowledge that and realize this is not a person for you right now. And I know you said like long-term friends. It hasn't been anybody's fault. And I think that's the biggest thing is like, it's hard to get it over it when no one's at fault. You can't be mad at this person. It's like breaking up with an ex-boyfriend. Kind of like I said earlier, like if the ex-boyfriend cheated, it's a heck of a lot easier to get over him than if he is just like the nicest man ever and just like it didn't work out. Cuz you have someone to hate, you know? And if nothing happened in these friendships, like it's hard to get over it because there's no one to hate. There's no one reason. And now you said like you do know space is what you need. So you never know if you could come back to that person when both of you grow and both of you grow in different ways and can come back together. Because that's what I have like hope for in a lot of my friendships that I've lost recently is like we could both grow and come back together as smarter, more well-rounded people than a childhood friendship. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the times like, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but like some friends like I've done really dirty, they've done me dirty, and I don't think it's like malicious intent on either side. It's literally just like we're kids. You know what I mean? I'm 24 years old. My frontal lobes, I think, does your frontal lobe come at 25? Yeah, so imagine all the things you do to the people closest to you before you even have a frontal lobe, you know? And so I think it's a lot of that, and I think people come in and out of your life, and the most important thing is that you just stay true to yourself and you stick up for what you need personally to keep growing and growing in the way that you want to. Because a lot of the times, like I kind of said before, like you have different phases in life, and if people can't support you in your phase, that is keeping you from growing how you want to and how you want to live your life. Does that make sense? Like, I think it's just so important to realize when someone is not there for you, not there, I should say, not there for the right reasons, like the Bachelorette says. Like, they could be there for you in the way that they think is best, but it might not be best for you. And I think that's the biggest reality to come to, you know? And I think dealing with like the sudden change of losing these friends, like, is to really hold on to the people that you still have in your life and that are supportive of you and that are still there for you. Does that make sense? It feels kind of condescending when I say, does that make sense? So just ignore me. But because sometimes I find I don't talk like I normally do on this podcast, like enough, but like I get nervous and like cling on to these certain phrases and like I hate it. I'm like editing this afterwards and I'm like, what is that? Anyways, kind of lost my train of thought there, of course. But like it's okay to feel sad. That's part of life is sadness and happiness because if you were never sad, you would never really feel happy because you have nothing to compare it to. So I think it's like it's important to switch your mindset into almost like a bittersweet sadness in the fact of I had so many great years with this friend and we're not working out right now in this phase of life, but the hope of the future to rekindle that and have a more amazing years with this person is what will push me through. Is that a good way to look at it? Like, by the way, you guys, I'm giving advice on these things that I also need advice on. So like I'm kind of a hypocrite here, but hopefully like my blabbing about it can help us both work through these things. Is someone at my door? I just saw a shadow. Let's hope nobody's trying to kill me. And then her final question was, she was wondering how you navigate the falling out and moving on with friendships. And I just think you take it day by day. You know, it's kind of similar to grief and it sucks grieving a person that's still alive. I mean, it sucks grieving a person anytime, but the idea of grieving someone that is still here, it's really hard. And I think it's just a matter of taking it one step at a time. What can you do today to feel better about it? Can you make plans with a new friend? Can you go out and reach out to someone that maybe you were friends with in childhood and you just want to reconnect? Can you find a new hobby that maybe you like doing alone? I think that's where I'm going in the next phase of my life is learning how to be happy alone. And not alone, but like just learning how to be happy with myself and like not need constant podcasts playing in the background because I'm scared of being alone with my own thoughts. You know, like me and my boyfriend were riding in the car yesterday and I was like, are you going to put on music? And he was like, no, I kind of like the quiet. And I was like, what? I need like noise. I can't be trapped alone with my own thoughts. What do you mean? So that is something I'm working on in the next phase of my life. And I think it's a great thing to be so centered in yourself and so comfortable with being alone to where you don't need to rely on like constantly having things around you to distract, you know? Oh my God. I just looked at my camera and it's on manual focus. So the YouTube video is going to be blurry. I can't win. I really can't win. I'm also like so not happy with my video quality, but who is going to pay for like a grand camera right now. Not me. Not me. That's going to a new apartment. Please. Okay. I hope I did justice on that question because we need to get to the last one. I'm like, okay. Last story for today. I was a bridesmaid. If I could read. I was a bridesmaid in one of my long-term friends' wedding. We had known each other since elementary school and stayed close all throughout college and post-college. When she got engaged, I immediately knew I was going to be in her wedding. As one of her bridesmaids, I was heavily involved with planning her bachelorette, engagement party, and bridal shower, and all of the planning that goes into being a bride. I would say I was more involved with her wedding planning than most of the girls that were in her wedding. A couple months after her wedding, we slowly started to grow apart and not stay in touch as much as we used to. It's been about 6 months since her wedding, and we hardly talk. Although growing out of friendships is a normal thing that happens to women in their 20s, I put a lot of time, money, and effort to make her feel like the special bride she was, and now we barely even talk. I feel like I was kind of used and then tossed to the side after her wedding. I knew when my time came to be engaged and to be a bride, she was going to be right by my side, putting in the same effort for me that I did for her, but now I'm not so sure that she would even be a bridesmaid. How do I move on from this friendship and let go of my unresolved feelings? I don't want to confront her or bring it up because I don't want to force a friendship that's not meant to be, and it would just be awkward since we haven't talked much in months. Okay, there's a couple of different scenarios and like things to talk about. So the first one that comes to mind is, I know you said you don't want to talk to her, but like, I think you should talk to her, because like it could be a big misunderstanding. So like, for example, I just listened to the Good Guys podcast. It's Josh Peck and Ben Soffer that have this podcast, and Drake Bell went on. And it was like the first time that like Drake and Josh from the show like publicly talked. And they talked a little bit about like their fights and like how they like grew apart when they were younger, but it was because of a miscommunication. Neither of them consciously said, I don't want to be friends with this person and I want to distance myself from this person. They both just misunderstood the other one's actions and thought they weren't friends because of that. And so I'm wondering if it's something like that, to where you had all these wedding events, you were so constantly in contact planning things, constantly together planning things or at the parties, that it feels like it's so distant now, but it's not, but it's actually not. I wonder if it's like a perception thing of like, yes, that 2-year engagement or whatever it was like boom, 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 and then nothing, but nothing actually meant just like less than you were used to. So not to like doubt you, but like, I'm wondering if it's something like that, to where a fly just flew across my camera. I'm wondering if it's something like that, to where it's literally just like a misunderstanding, And really just on this point still, I think you should talk to her. I mean, this is obviously someone you were very close to. You put a lot of effort into this friendship. You might not feel appreciated about it, but like, I think you should ask for answers. I think you should ask to just like sit down and talk, or even like, I'm not sure you didn't really say if like you reach out to her a lot, but like the friendship goes 2 ways as well, So have you put in an effort? Have you said, hey, let's hang out. Hey, let's get coffee. Hey, let's go catch up. I miss you. I haven't seen you in forever. I want to hear about how your marriage is and how everything's going. Okay, I have it. I'm giving you a plan. Step 1. I like steps. Step 1. Reach out to her and say, oh my God, I miss you so much. I haven't talked to you in forever. Life has been so crazy, but like, I want to catch up. Can we meet for coffee soon? Can we have a wine night soon? Can we go hang out soon? Something like that. Step 2, wait for the response. See what she says. If she's like, oh yeah, I'm just so busy, blah, 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 and like beats around the question, it's time to get down to business. Let's follow this path first, and then we'll go to option 2A, 2B, whatever. So option 2A is that I try to get too technical with it. 2A, what is this, like a paper? Yes, it's an essay, a short story, let's say. 2A, she beats around the bush. She doesn't sound really excited. She doesn't sound really interested. So what do? We say, okay, is something up? I feel the distance. I feel us growing apart. I don't mean to be dramatic about it, but you did have a special place in my life, and I miss that. I miss us being close and being friends. Okay? And then we go from there. And I think you just like open up that can of worms, because like, you both deserve to at least close the chapter if the chapter needs to be closed. Okay? Now on to option 2B. She's excited. She says, oh my God, yes, I'm free this Wednesday. She's like ready to plan. You go. You feel the vibes of the dinner. or wine night or whatever it is, make sure that the conversation goes both ways. So make sure you're saying, I'm so excited. Like, tell me about marriage. How's it been? How was like the honeymoon? Have you been like just relaxing? How's your job? Blah, blah, blah. And make sure she's asking and caring about you too, because you want the friendship to be two-sided, you know? So if all goes well, you're welcome. I'll send you the bill. If all doesn't go well, you didn't hear this from me. But basically, I think it's worth just like reaching out and trying that one last effort. You know what I mean? Because you were obviously close enough for her to ask you to be her bridesmaid. I like to see the best in people. I don't like to think that someone would ask someone to be in their wedding just to use them for their money and planning and like a warm body. I don't like to think some people would be like that, but some people are like that. You know what I mean? And so give her the benefit of the doubt. The words are hard. Give her the benefit of the doubt. Wait, is that the saying? I've been feeling extra stupid lately. Anyways, give her the benefit of the doubt. Try it out. Put your feelers out and see what happens. Now, it really is like the worst to feel like you were like used and tossed aside. That sentence kind of broke my heart. She said, I feel like I was kind of used and tossed aside. That really sucks. And it sucks to even like feel that way. And you know what? I'm going to flip like a steak right now and give you a second opinion from my first opinion, because I don't have bipolar disorder, but I'm switching personalities right now. Maybe you stand up for yourself and you say, you know what? This person obviously doesn't value me as a friend. This is like so pessimistic side of me. This person obviously doesn't value me as a friend. They used and abused me during their wedding because they wanted all these things done. And now they can't even bother to text me, ask how I'm doing, anything. And you know what? I'm having an aha moment. Maybe this isn't a good person for this phase in your life. You know, and it sucks that you put all that effort in and you felt like you were being there. And back to our first story, it is so true that I'm like learning while I'm talking. Oh my God, I'm giving myself advice. Sorry, that was loud. It is so true that to be a good villager and to like build your village, you have to do things with the expectation that you get nothing back. So I think it might be very good to switch your mindset around, and instead of feeling used in the wedding planning stuff, I think it would be so beneficial for you to say, you know what? I'm so glad that I showed up for my friend in a time that was so happy and celebratory for her. And I'm so glad that I could be there and do all the things that I did and celebrate my friend. But in the same breath, I can't expect anything in return. Because I think that's where a lot of peace is found, is not expecting anything back. So I think that's a whole nother mindset to look into, is you put your all into this friendship and you're not expecting anything back. You're not expecting her to plan your wedding like you did. It'd be great if y'all could rekindle and that could happen. But I think it's almost good for you to stand up for yourself and say, relationships are two-sided. I can't keep putting my all into a friendship that doesn't put their all into me. I can't keep supporting a friend that won't even show up for me. You know, I don't know if you're engaged or anything, or like getting married soon, or just like thinking about the future, but like I talk about the phases so much because this is the perfect example of having friends in different phases of your life that don't support the phase you're in. She's getting married. She's having all the wedding stuff, and you are there to support her. You are a friend that is supporting her in a phase that you are not in. You're not getting married right now. You're not getting engaged right now. You might not feel like you have all these things going on, you know, and she has all these things going on, and you're being there for your friend in her phase. And at the same time, she's not being there for you in your phase. She's not saying, oh, I know you're not getting married, but maybe let's do a little something extra special for your birthday. Oh, I know you don't have this huge life milestone that I just had, but you just got a job promotion. Let's go out. Let me take you out to dinner. You know, you need friends that can accept big milestones that aren't just marriage, babies, I don't know, divorces. I don't know. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like there's like the traditional milestones that everyone celebrates. Everyone celebrates their friends when they get married, when they have babies, when they get engaged, all of that stuff. Not everyone celebrates when you start a podcast, you get a job promotion, you get accepted into school. You know what I mean? Not everyone celebrates because people don't understand that that's the same level as, to some people, relatively, as getting married, as having babies. And so that is like largely where the phase of life theory comes in, is that you could have friends that are in different phases of their life, but can they support you in the different phases? Obviously, you could support her in her phase, but I don't think she could support you back. You know what I mean? So I think that is pretty disappointing in general in friends. Okay. And so I think your last question was, how do I move on from this friendship and let go of my unresolved feelings? I think it's just, you realize that you deserve better. You deserve a friend that's not going to make you feel like this. You deserve a friend that will be there for you and not make you feel like you were used in the planning of her wedding. Are you kidding me? That's not a friend that I even want to have. That's another thing that I've realized lately, is like some of these like quote unquote friendship breakups that I was upset about, like that is not someone that I want. You know, like I don't want to feel like I'm constantly on edge. I don't want to feel like I'm like constantly fighting for something that like no one else is putting effort into. You know, do you really want this friend in your life after they've made you feel this way? You know? And I think once you change your mindset on that, a lot of the unresolved feelings and the hurt will go away. And that's that on that. Because if I keep talking too much, I'm just going to keep repeating myself and maybe say things I'm not supposed to. So, A, I think my YouTube video is blurry, which I'm pissed about. I'm really mad about it. Really, really mad. Talk about not good video quality, please. This is terrible. Maybe I won't even release it on YouTube, honestly. Honestly. Oh well. Oh well. Anyways, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching if this does go up on YouTube. Thanks for making it past the poop talk at the beginning, because that was weird. That was really weird. Um yeah, episode 4 in the books. Crazy, right? Pretty wild. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, write in. Make sure you write in. I'm running out of write-ins, you guys. At least write-ins that like are good applicable write-ins for the pod. Because some things like they're just like questions that could like answer with an Instagram story. You know what I mean? Like this isn't like a personal Q&A about me, which I appreciate your concern and your questions. Maybe I'll do an Instagram Q&A, but this isn't like a Q&A. It's like ask me for advice. You know? So yeah, toodaloo. What an ending. Okay, for real, bye.